Hello everyone, welcome back to the Movie Reviewers 100. My name is Scott, also known as Cineram. I do the Thursday videos here on this collaboration channel. Our theme this week was a request from Harry Benson, who's also known as Mac of Photos on YouTube. He requests we do a theme on best buddies, best friends, close as can be. And we've had a couple of good videos so far. James did The Goonies on Tuesday, Ray did Sideways, Paul Giamatti, and what's that guy's name? Thomas Hayden Church, sorry. Let's see, EJ did Revenge of the Nerds. Al did a movie by Walter Hill called Bullet to the Head, which is fairly recent. Stallone's in the movie. I really don't know a whole lot about it, never seen it before. I had a few different options, but I decided to go with a movie that I already have, and I just happen to have this set right here, which is 3 movies in one package, Lethal Weapons 1 through 3. In the first movie, of course, the LA cops, played by Danny Glover and Mel Gibson, didn't really like each other all that much, but they had sort of respect for each other at the end. By the third movie, they are fast friends, and that's the one that I wanted to talk about. As you can see right here, this set basically has a disc with Lethal Weapon on one side and Lethal Weapon 2 on the other side, but Lethal Weapon 3 has the disc all its own. That's great. Lethal Weapon 3 is my favorite of the 4 films. And although I wouldn't say that it has any remarkable action scenes in it, aside from some of the Jet Li fights in Part 4, there's certainly something to be said for the consistency of this particular series. The actors who play Murtaugh and Riggs' colleagues at work, they're all the same in each film. The actors who play Murtaugh's wife and children, they're all the same in each film. Of course, you have the occasional addition of a supporting character. In Part 2 it was Joe Pesci, in Part 3 it was Renee and Russo, in Part 4 it was Chris Rock. And so there's this big sort of extended family. And family is an important part of Lethal Weapon 3, as it turns out, because although Murtaugh has threatened to retire in seasons past, in the first one he just turned 50 years old, by Part 3 he's actually going to do it. He's on his last week of being a police officer before he retires. He's 55 now. This creates some interesting thematic quirks, because the bad guy they're going after is not actually a drug dealer by nature. He is in fact an ex-cop, a cop who didn't see any real attractive possibilities in retirement. So he decides to become a criminal instead, use his knowledge and his skills as a police officer to start his own criminal enterprise. Kind of walked away from the whole life and started something new. He's played by Stuart Wilson. The character's name is Jack Travers. And it's funny, when they discover who the big bad guy they're going after is, the internal affairs officer, played by Renee Russo, says, he's one heck of a brutal cop. I've never seen so many citations for excessive force. And their captain in the department goes, yeah, well, he's also as tough as they come. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, he's actually like kind of sort of defending him, you know. He's not really, but just a little bit. I mean, he's somewhat sympathetic to him, you know. He has respect for the guy, even though he's clearly not nice anymore. Not that he ever was in the first place. So naturally, this is something of an embarrassment for the department. And Murtaugh and Riggs take it fairly personally that this guy has decided to cross the line. So they redouble their efforts to bring him down. Meanwhile, Joe Pesci has become a real estate agent. His character Leo Getz has a shock of platinum blonde hair and is trying to put Murtaugh's house on the market, trying to sell it. And then, of course, Renee Russo, the IA, the internal affairs officer, she has sort of a thing with Riggs. They are sort of similar personalities. Neither of them tend to use a holster for their weapon. They just stick it down the back of their jeans. And at one point they actually compare close calls with all their little scrapes and bullet wounds and what have you that they've acquired over the years. So they have a thing going. And of course she's pregnant with this baby in Part 4. But the interesting thing about this movie is with the ex-cop thing and the retirement thing, this is a little bit more of a difficult situation for Murtaugh. Something has been made out of the fact that retiring from the police force is kind of a metaphorical death. I don't know if you've ever seen the drama Falling Down with Michael Douglas and Robert Duvall, but one of the plot lines of that is that Robert Duvall is also a veteran police officer who is also about to retire. And in one scene, his captain calls him into the office and says, you know, you get sick of wading through human scum year after year, but some guys who get to the point where they want to throw the badge down, they find out they just can't do it because it's in your blood. Either a sense of duty or obligation, or just not knowing what to do with yourself after retirement for cops. It's like a metaphorical death. So Murtaugh essentially saves himself in the end by deciding at the very last scene, no, I'm not going to retire, I'm going to keep being a cop, and thus Lethal Weapon 4 is called into existence some years later. It took 6 years, actually, for 4 to come out after 3. But the other aspect of this is also the family aspect, and the fact that Riggs has kind of become part of Murtaugh's family. He's over at his house, hanging with his wife and his kids every single week. They probably have dinner together on a regular basis. He still lives in his trailer. In fact, he's still living in his trailer in part 4 after he's been in a relationship with Renee Russo for however many years. He got rid of the mullet. He's not as crazy and as reckless as he used to be, but he's still living in the trailer. I don't know. But he gets a little bit worried. There's the best scene in the whole movie, Lethal Weapon 3, is when he confronts Murtaugh about this. He says, you know, when you retire, you're not just retiring you, you're retiring us, you know. I got 3 beautiful kids. I love them. They're yours. I live in your laundry. I live in your wife. Live in your life. You know, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? You know, just get someone else as a partner? I don't think so. And Murtaugh's like, I don't care. He's like, oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. You know, it's something that I've read about quite frequently, that police officers who are partnered up for a long period of time become closer than they do to their own spouses. And so not only does Murtaugh save himself by not retiring, or in the end he pretty much saves Riggs too, because, you know, I mean, maybe it still would have been a thing with him with Lorna. Cole, the Renee Russo character, who of course went on to co-star with Mel Gibson in Ransom a few years later. But yeah, he's sort of he's kept the family together by saying, "No, I'm not going to retire yet. We're still going to be partners," and so everything is fine in the end. Unfortunately, Stuart Wilson, the bad guy, kills them both before the movie is over. That makes it a quite shocking ending. I'm only kidding, of course. It's not like these guys can ever get killed. You know, James Bond can never get killed in any of his movies. Can't kill off Batman, even if he gets caught in a nuclear explosion out in the middle of the water. Yeah, he's Batman. He'll get away from that. These guys always live through everything, so that's no surprise there. Yeah, a fun picture, one that I really like a lot as far as that series goes. The first one and the third one, the fourth one, I'm not all that big on. They have their moments, but I'm not crazy about it. Lethal Weapon 2 I like a little bit better. The villains in that movie are white supremacists from South Africa. Yeah, there's my review right there. A couple other movies I wanted to mention. Superbad with Jonah Hill and Michael Cera. It's a great movie about best friends. Shaun of the Dead with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Excellent. And also Stand By Me, which actually contains the lines, "I never had any friends like I did when I was 12. Does anyone?" I'm like, probably not. Probably not. So thanks very much for watching. We've got a new theme starting tomorrow. Hope you enjoy it. Please visit our Facebook page, leave us comments, suggest a theme of your own if you've got one. Actor, actress, director, genre, whatever. You know, we'd love to hear from you. And subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Thank you again. See you real soon. Bye.